skinny love just last the year. Poor little soul, we were never here. Staring at the sink of blood and crushed veneer. Told my love to wreck it all. Cut out all the roads to let me fall. Right in the moment, this art is told. And I told you to be patient, and I told you to be fine, and I told you to be balanced, and I told you to be kind. And in the morning I'll be with you, but it will be a different kind. 'Cause I'll be holding all the tickets, and you'll be owning all the flights. Come on, skinny love, what happened here? Circle on the whole bit like Brazil. Silent load is full, so slow on the split. And I told you to be patient, and I told you to be fine, and I told you to be balanced, and I told you to be kind. And now all your love is wasted, then who the hell was I? 'Cause now I'm breaking at the bridges and at the ends of all your lives.
Alright boys, yeah, I saw the Bitcoin event for the last couple of hours, so I missed some of this action here on the pound. But the big action to me is the breakthrough higher of the US bonds above that 2.4 level, a key level that a lot of traders are watching. This could lead to some potentially extensions here in dollar yen. Dollar yen extensions can lead to US dollar strength across the board. You've seen the opening of that dollar strength against the Aussie dollar today with the surprisingly weak CPI numbers. So this is a scenario where a lot of things are lining up in US dollar's favor very quickly. And we talked about this early in the week. The pound's immune to this. The pound is not part of this game. So in terms of what's moving the pound, I mean, a little bit of good data. You got the now you've got the very high chance that the Bank of England raises rates next week. But the short-term movements in terms of Brexit negotiations and those, you really got to treat the pound almost as its own unique little plaything. And if you're looking to buy the pound, you can buy it against the US dollar, but you might as well buy it against something like the pound yen or sell euro pound, because those two make a lot of sense now. Unfortunately, my euro pound trade that we got into was stopped out 5 pips from the high this afternoon. So I came back and the euro pound's back down. I've re-entered the euro pound short. I really think now we have a bit more potential to kick on lower. And but yeah, I was stopped out. I think my stop was at 60. So it's unfortunate, but that's happens. It's that's just part of the game. And so the pound. No one knew that the GDP numbers were going to be so strong. But now the market's looking forward to the Bank of England. Some news headlines, well, a little bit more supportive of Brexit talks. So yeah, the pound and the US dollar are outstanding at the moment. Aussie and the Kiwi are the dogs. Dollar CAD could become the dog later tonight. If the Bank of Canada is remaining on that dovish, well, neutral, don't raise rates, that's not going to happen. They're going to raise rates. But come across neutral, or more neutral than the market's looking for, then yeah, dollar CAD can join the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar in pushing higher. And at the moment, the market's well, and it's not like we're in a skeptical moment for the US dollar. Everyone's actually keen to buy the US dollar, and with that break of 2.4 on the 10-year yields, buying dollar yen also makes sense. I've done that as well. in terms of stop, you can put your stop pretty close actually. 113.70. It should kick higher. Retest maybe 114, then go up. But it's one of those situations where you've got to sort of go with the flow, go with the trends. And more good news is probably on the cards if tax plan continues to gain a little bit of pace here in the US. US stocks are just outrageous. Yeah, just shook off all that negativity that we had from that one day of closing at the lows, broke fresh highs. The amazing run's just continuing. While this is the case, it's very hard not to play long US dollar, in particular long dollar yen. So yeah, and dollar yen's big level is close. We've seen that in the last little while, 114.50. The previous couple of highs got up there. We'll see what happens this time around. The euro is just not moving much at all, grinding a little bit higher, probably in sympathy with the pound, but the euro, you have to be really careful. The ECB event tomorrow is very likely to end up being net dovish for the euro, and the market, remember, is position long, and you've got this renewed US dollar strength, and something has to give. So for the bar now for the euro to rally is set very high in the status quo. ECB would have to surprise majorly to get a sustained euro rally, or something would have to change, either stock markets down or US bonds down, or expectations of who's going to be the new Fed chair. Actually, they're already on the dovish guy, so yeah, they need to stay the same. You can't have those changing. If Taylor gets more credence like he did yesterday, then you've got another issue to deal with in terms of US dollar strength coming from another area. But yeah, right now it's the middle of a nice US dollar rally, so you've got to be careful, with the exception of the pound, about how you play it. So let's have a look at some of the research there. I've been up trading. I've been in the market now for like 14 hours today, so I'm a little bit getting towards the end of my energy levels. But I want to look at the Bank of Canada preview. For those who will still be awake in 3 hours time, Bank of Canada is the main event. The main event left for today before we turn our attention to the ECB tomorrow, and that is got some potential to yeah, very unlucky, mate. Jesus. I mean, there was some pretty heavy selling on the pound yesterday. I suppose that was going to happen. It gets stopped out. But now the patterns are a bit more bearish. The charts look a bit more bearish as well, so that's good. So getting back into a trade is not my problem I have. It's you know, it's just unfortunate I was away from the computer for a couple of hours tonight, so I couldn't see it. I saw the data come through on a flash on my alert on my phone. I'm like, oh god, here we go. Here we go. It's happening again. So we're going to begin with BNP Paribas. CAD makes sting gains above 127 on a steady Bank of Canada. Oh, they've already done that. A bit late to that. It's a bit late to wait for the Bank of Canada to get long. It's busting higher. So you got a previous high coming up pretty close. There is some view out there that the dollar CAD is the, I don't know. You don't want to. Why would you buy dollar CAD when you can sell Aussie or sell Kiwi? I understand that. It's not like oil's weak. Oil's quite strong. It's mostly, you know, they're still on the rate hike cycle. It's just delayed a little bit, right? Whereas RBA and RBNZ have got huge problems to raise rates. Yeah, well down the track. Whereas Bank of Canada can quickly change back into a rate hike cycle. Alright, so the chances of a rate hike this month are for 15% only, so very unlikely. And given if any sort of tactical player in the Bank of Canada will see this opportunity here to really stick in the boot to the Canadian dollar as much as possible, this would be the way. In fact, given that jump higher, it's surprising dollar CAD hasn't moved yet. It's probably only because of the Bank of Canada that the dollar CAD hasn't moved higher. You know, that small little chance people don't want to play too much positioning beforehand when we're already long. when the market's already long. So, you know, a little bit of profit taking ahead of it, I suppose, but afterwards, when this little risk event is cleared, then the upwards and onwards is on the cards for sure here for the dollar CAD. If it comes across mildly more hawkish than some were expecting, and you do get a little bit of profit taking, let's see what happens at 126. Yeah. If a rate hike happens, then yeah, all bets are off, and you've got to be really careful. But if the market takeaway is, that was surprisingly hawkish, they could have done more. Buying 126 for the continuation does make sense. Sort of like right now, you want to sell the Kiwi on rallies, you want to sell the Aussie on rallies since Aussie broke that key support. Aussie is finding support at the moment at the 200-day moving average. Okay, so this is a pretty key next level, but dollar CAD has this room to move up to 127.80, and then, you know, a lot of traders are talking 130 at some point if it was to continue higher, which is not that big a level, like not that big a target in terms of the size of the sell-off that we had in dollar CAD. That's literally a 50% retracement. Pretty sure. So 127.30, 50%. No, yeah, I mean that's nothing. That can happen. Refresh button. Yep, you've gone long there, pound yen, have you, Morphs? I like that. Pound yen is the perfect trade at the moment, right? It's just the only thing, it's a little high on the day. Yeah, a little high on the day. Like where we're going to buy, we're going to buy a little pullback, right? Let's go a little pullback. Where are we going to get in? Where are we going to get in on you, pound yen? Jesus, it's win one of those let's not pull back at all modes, isn't it? Jeez, oh god, wow. Well, I suppose what we want to do here is a trailing limit order. All right, that was really what we want to do. We want a limit order that goes up 50 points underneath this price and keeps on tracking it higher and higher. We want to buy the first little dip here, but yeah, it's on a warpath right now, so yeah, you're not going to get a pullback probably that you would like. You might have to just buy small at market, buy more if it pulls back, which is one way of getting in. Alright, the Fed's pricing more tight in the Bank of Canada over the next 18 months, but broadly speaking expected to be about the same over the next couple of years. I don't know if there's a catalyst for the dollar, for the bond market. Let's have a look. Nothing there. Alright, it's just the tax plans that are being accelerated. Flash PMIs from Euro were strong. Deutsche Bank's base case is 30 billion per month, an extension of the program for 9 months, which leaves the door open for rate hikes in 2019. Any sort of speed up to that program would open the door to rate hikes in 2018, I suppose, but if they don't put a date on it, that could be dovish if it's open-ended. If they do put a date on it, at least the market might have a little bit more certainty. And if this number is not as, if it don't halve it, if it go 40 billion or 50 billion with the intention of, you know, taking 5 billion off a month or something, then the market will definitely sell. Definitely sell. Yeah, this was an interesting little story. Mr. Trump asked for a show of hands at a Senate Republicans lunch as to who they preferred to the Fed. Although Trump didn't announce a winner, they think Taylor won the hand poll. So I don't know. Everything makes sense that it's power. Doesn't rock the boat. Makes Trump have an active choice in who is the Fed chief. That way, you know, it just makes sense. Stock markets won't get rattled. If Taylor wins, stocks might go down. You know, Trump loves stocks going up. I think dollar CAD's going higher. You could tomorrow. Broadly speaking, though, you've missed a fair bit of the rally. Yeah. So hopefully somehow we get a pullback and you can buy into that. Otherwise, pound CAD is a trade that we did today in the office a fair bit with a few clients. Pound CAD makes sense. So the first leg of the pound CAD trade has made, you know, heaps of gains. The second leg of the pound CAD trade is coming up. It was a really nice, actually, sort of trade. That's another reason Alabama. There's no way. There's no way Taylor would win. Alright, Politico has reported the House Republicans will introduce their tax reform bill on the 1st of November. It's pretty quick. It's coming up pretty quick. I need some of the stuff that's Chinese. Let's have a look at, where's Kiwi at? Kiwi's got some big support coming in at 68, 60. Did it test that already? Not yet. Not yet. Does look pretty weak there, guys. There's a lot more of that story for the RBNZ. A lot more damage that the Labor government can do over there. So yeah, I would not be touching the reversal trades, even though they look tempting here. The market's pretty oversold. I know that. It's just, you're asking for trouble. Wait for a reason. Wait for a reason to sell dollar CAD. Wait for a reason to sell the US dollar. Then we can look at, you know, buying pound or buying the euro, maybe buying the Aussie, but probably not Aussie. Maybe selling dollar CAD would be the safer ones. So ECB is not going to be the game changer for the euro. Tapering may open change from launch. ECB's rather glacial pivot to the exit is likely to see its next step taken up top of me. Very well flagged. I mean, they've talked about it for weeks now. ECB speakers have been talking about it for weeks. The more hawkish outcomes of a shift in forward guidance or fixed end date for forward guidance appear rather unlikely. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard, isn't it? It's really hard when you to sort of get into some of these trades, I suppose, because the shift into US dollar has been so dramatic, and the shift away from the euro-led US dollar sell-off. I mean, I can understand why traders would be very gun shy right now. You know, what are you asking me to sell the Aussie at multi-year lows at the 200-day moving average? No, I mean, it's not that. It's just you have to be open to the idea that the market can go lower. In fact, you should be, by this point, you should be turned into a US dollar bull in the short term anyway. and hoping to get on that just until the tax stuff is finished, just until we get a stock market that's selling, you know, just until there's a door opening for US dollar weakness by some weak US dollar. You know, at the moment it's just too hard to see this turning around too quickly. I mean, we could buy the Aussie right now at the 200-day just to see how it plays out, but you know, it's not very scientific. If it works, it reinforces negative behavior. If it doesn't work, then you know, it's like, what's the education in that? That we tried to catch the bottom. You know, there's it's just, to me, there's safer times and safer ways to trade. The US dollar, why it's so strong right now, if you're not happy trading the US dollar, you should be trading crosses. So looking at something like the Aussie Kiwi on the pullback here, Kiwi's got much more negativity than the Aussie. Aussie's just got some technical sell through now. So the Aussie Kiwi's on the pullback. So far it's pulled back. I found a little support. Okay, you had an opportunity at the 112 level. I was going to talk about that, but it's gone back. But you know, buying the Aussie Kiwi is like a relatively safe trade. Both are terrible, but one's more terrible than the other. Yeah, euro against the pound. The pound's playing its own game, while the euro's in trouble. You know, the ECB's not going to help it. Pound's trying to rally. It hasn't even got good Brexit news, and the pound's rallying. So the playing the crosses is probably where it's at. And in terms of which pair is underperforming the yield move, the dollar yen is. The dollar yen's been very skittish at these high levels. This little sideways rally is poised to continue now. So that's the way I'm playing dollar yen. That's the way I'm playing dollar strength at the moment. I should raise this Aussie Kiwi limit a bit higher. Okay. Alright guys, it's been a really big day here. I'm going to be here tomorrow for the ECB live meeting. I unfortunately think it's going to be a bit of a dull affair, but you never know. You never know. It's a mark of the end of the QE. Perhaps the market will be more volatile than the recent few days of sideways trading is predicting. Yeah. Euro Kiwi is another way to trade it, but I think pound Kiwi is better. Yeah, of course. Yeah, alright guys. Best of luck with your trades. We'll be back tomorrow for the ECB live. So tomorrow our stream starts half an hour from now, 24. So tomorrow half an hour later than right now for you guys. We'll watch the ECB statement tomorrow live. Have a little chat before the statement is read. The pound CAD trade, yeah, the pound CAD trade. It's based off an in-house technical indicator. I don't use it on my charts here. But the pound CAD trade, if you want to learn that technical system, I can teach you, but I have to charge. Look, technical is not the way I trade anyway, but there was a really powerful buy signal on the 4 hour. I think it was this one. I'll have to go and get the template onto this. I would have to get the template from work. It's basically a trend following system, and then you buy pullbacks, and you buy off a particular candle. I think it was one of these two candles, this one probably. It's always a small candle. So yeah, that was a clear signal. A couple of you in the room are my clients at work. I don't know if any of you got that trade. But yeah, it was well telegraphed in the trading committee. Alright guys, yeah, not that I took it myself personally, but it's, you know what I mean, like all the tech guys took it because they love that stuff. You know, for me, trading before news announcements is too dangerous. All right, unless I really have a strong feeling on what the news is going to be, or the interpretation of the market, or the market's, you know, there's a risk reward there. But you know, I don't do those trades too often. Alright boys, trade safe. I'll be back tomorrow.